right, y'all, change your plans. So my original plan was to do a review for each of the summer movies that I loved the most in 1987. But I figured that's going to be too time consuming because there's other videos that I want to do. So I figured just condense all this shit into one video, the best of summer of 87. Right now we're in 2017. 87 was 30 years ago, but that's one of the most best summers when it came to movies of all time. So there you have it. First movie I'm gonna start out with is The Untouchables. Now, I did not see this in the theaters, but I did get it on VHS, and it's probably one of the best gangster movies of all time. It's not gritty or like really realistic like a lot of the other gangster movies that I love, but still, it's textbook gangster 101. Kevin Costner, I don't too much like Kevin Costner, but this is the one movie that I did enjoy of his. And to me, the standouts are definitely Sean Connery and De Niro as Al Capone. Especially Connery, because Connery, he did get an Oscar nomination for this, and I don't know who won that year, but Connery killed it. And De Niro was Al Capone. I mean, dude, De Niro is just like flawless in everything that he's in. So, yeah, The Untouchables, that's definitely top. Next, we have Masters of the Universe. He-Man, Dolph Lundgren, Canon Films. The fuck is wrong with you? Yes, Masters of the Universe is on this list. Look here. In 87, I was 7 going on 8. I wasn't even 8 years old yet when this movie came out. But I was a huge He-Man fan. Dolph Lundgren was still hot off of Rocky 4. So you have somebody like Dolph Lundgren who's popular, an iconic character like He-Man. Boom, perfect formula for a fun popcorn movie that kids are going to enjoy. So I did love this movie. Even though as a kid I did notice the absence of Eternia because the cartoon, most of the cartoon takes place in Eternia, and you see Eternia for like maybe 10 minutes in the movie, and then the rest of it takes place in our world. And then come to find out the reason they did that is because they didn't have the budget. Canon was going belly up, and you can kind of see it. But I thought it was still a solid movie. It was a good concept. I thought it did work. It was a flop at the box office, but I did enjoy watching this as a kid, and I do enjoy watching it now. So I can have a good time and laugh at it. It's not to be taken really seriously. Come on, it's a movie about He-Man. Dolph Lundgren is the lead. How serious can you take this, all right? Another film that I think is definitely overlooked is Monster Squad. Monster Squad dropped in summer of 87. Another one that's not really talked about. And as a matter of fact, Monster Squad, it's kind of hard to categorize this thing because it is supposed to be a horror movie, but at the same time, it is a kid movie somewhat. So it's almost like The Goonies meets The Lost Boys, meets Gremlins, meets all the characters like Frankenstein and all that shit like condensed into one movie. But it was still really enjoyable. Like I loved watching Monster Squad. Like at the time I wanted to have my own little Monster Squad, but none of the friends that I did have was into that kind of shit. So yeah, Monster Squad definitely is up there. Next we have Harry and the Hendersons. This is a movie that's not really talked about anymore. Like not a lot of people talk about Harry and the Hendersons. My daughter, I tried showing it to her because she's never heard of it, and I think it's an underrated film. You know, it's a film about Bigfoot. At the time, you know, you had movies like E.T. and what's another one? You know, just a sentimental movie about a misunderstood creature, and the family takes him in and loves on him, and they have to rescue him at the end. Like it definitely has an E.T. feel to it, but it's not nowhere near as, you know what? Fuck that. Yeah, I liked it better than E.T. I don't care. I've watched Harry and the Hendersons more than I watched E.T. So what? Sue me. You have Cant Buy Me Love, which, if you've seen the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon, that movie bit off of this one. I thought it was an inferior version of this one. Cant Buy Me Love was definitely classic. Patrick Dempsey, the chick that played Cindy, I forgot her real name, but she just passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace. But this was a classic comedy, romantic tale. But yeah, Can't Buy Me Love was a classic, well, it's kind of a rags to riches because he goes from being a nerd to being the hot guy. And you know how she changed him around, and then how she ends up falling for him after he fell for her first, and all that bullshit or whatever. So it's still a good movie to watch. I still like to watch it to this day, and that's definitely one of the top summer movies of '87. Notable mention. To be honest with you, this movie is considered one of the worst movies of all time. But I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The very first time I watched this movie, I did enjoy it, and that was Jaws: The Revenge. I was 7. I didn't know any better. I guess I was just basing it off of how I really liked the first 2 Jaws movies, and 3 was okay. And Jaws the Revenge, I thought was good at the time, but then that shit faded away real quickly. So yeah, if you ask me now, if I review this movie now, I definitely would give Jaws the Revenge a solid F. All right, one of the worst ever. But as a 7-year-old kid, I did even enjoy the shit. Even when the shark roared like a lion, I did halfway enjoy Jaws the Revenge. Now we're gonna get down to my favorite, besides RoboCop and The Lost Boys, my favorite summer movie of '87 is a movie that I did not even get to see in the summer, and that is Predator, the original Predator. I believe this dropped in July of '87, but I didn't get to watch this shit until December. That's crazy because I didn't get to see it in the movies, and then when it came to VHS, if anybody rented movies at this time, you know that that was one of the hardest movies in the world to find on VHS, unless you got the hookup at the video store or you knew somebody that had a copy of the tape. Predator was damn near impossible to get, so I didn't get this shit until December, but it was worth the wait because definitely a classic movie, classic sci-fi movie. Matter of fact, I want to do a full review on it because this movie deserves a full review treatment, but I just wanted to make a video summing up everything I loved about the '87 movies. Okay, now these movies really didn't gross a whole lot of money, like let's say like a Batman or like some of the big movies that came out over the years in the summer. But if you take them summer for summer, I think that this list of summer movies had a more solid. I think these were more solid than a lot of the other summers, even up to this time. I mean, 2017, this was a good summer. I did enjoy a lot of these movies, but I think for some reason '87, I guess because I was a kid and that they have sentimental value, I really feel like these movies really shine, they stand out. And Predator definitely is the top of the pack, okay? But as far as movies that I actually seen in the theater, I've got to give that to RoboCop easily. But if you really take it, you know, the best of '87, I say Predator, one of Arnold's best. Very, very great sci-fi movie. Still holds up to this day with all the CGI and shit. This movie still holds up really well to this day. So that is my quick list. That is my 2 cents for those who care to listen to what I think about these movies. All right, that's just my quick little roundup of summer of '87. What did I leave out? What movies did you guys love in the summertime? Comment below, comment freely. Thank you for watching. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.